Hey YouTube. Um, so I recently saw the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer. Not the trailer, the movie. I saw the movie yesterday. Um, what's my rating to it? My rating is it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think No Way Home was better, but this movie was good in like how Peter Parker is, and the whole movie is just the pacing was really good. I really liked the pacing and all that stuff. Um, you know, it's like a new it's like a new Spider-Man. Like they move on from like what happened in the last movie. Um, I like the action stuff where spoilers, some spoilers, but I'm not gonna like go into like some. But uh, Spider-Man fought Scorpio, and then something happens after that. Um, I like the Spider-Man versus the Punisher. I think they're really funny. It's really funny, and then they kind of like develop this arc relationship throughout the movie. I kind of like that, and also like they kind of go as like I don't read comics, but like I watch the movies. But yeah, the development of the Peter Parker's character is really good. I think it's really good. Where he changes, his DNA, and then he unlocks like his new, I think, ability where his senses are frightened, not frightened, heightened. But yeah, I like the part where his senses are just more powerful, and then he kind of learns from that, and just you know re it just changes who he is to become a better person from that, from like trauma. It activates his he activates like his black eyed sense, because he had trauma that and and he sees his like friends from the past, like MJ and Ned. They forgot about them, but he sees them from outing from like a store, and then they all of a sudden just got kind of met up. Um, and then he kind of suffers from that, and yeah, it left off from the last movie, but I think 4 years had passed by. Yeah, so they just graduated. They're like they're like 20, so it's like not a immediate sequel, but like it's like kind of a sequel and kind of the new start, brand new day, right? That's really regular. That's kind of good that it focuses on his normal life, and also like the streets. It focuses on the streets of New York. That's really cool. Um, some we never seen that in past Spider movies, right? Where it's just ground level since like the first Tom Holland movie. So that's the first time we saw that New York, New York scenery. The villain of the movie, it's not who we expected. Who we expected, like it's not obvious in the trailer, but when you watch the movie, you kind of sense it. Um, yeah, but the villain, I think there, I think there's not actually a villain in the movie. There's an antagonist, but but it's not the obvious thing. Wait, hold up. Probably there is a villain if you look at it some ways. How do I say this without spoiling it? Or people seen it already today, as of August 5th. So probably most people have seen it. Um, it's really relatable, even relatable to like Peter Parker in the movie, and it touches me. It really touches me like personally, and I can relate to it because like he's alone in the world. Um, where the scenes like where like he so where he runs from like the apartment from a party because he saw MJ like, or even Ned like having fun, and then once he saw that MJ kiss somebody else, like her boyfriend or something, he takes a step back and then run, and then he kind of like swings across the city and just reminiscing like memories. I feel like that's kind of relatable. Um, for me personally, like yeah, it creates some kind of uh, it creates some kind of like nostalgic and what you miss the most and how how life is like better when it was the past or something, and it's really kind of relatable. Um, you know, for me because like yeah, I made I kind of like I kind of like regret something I did and whatsoever, and then I remember the good memories too, so that was kind of relatable. Um, so that triggered me. And then what else? What else was? I think it was the middle act where Peter MJ had a moment, uh, where they had a huge moment where I think Peter found out like MJ's not her, and then it was all up in the rooftop, and I was like, I did not expect that too. Um, y'all probably know what I'm talking about, but for the people who haven't watched it, um, you know, yeah, I'm sorry if there's some spoiler. I'm just trying to give information that gives less information. So if people know about it, yeah, but like if people don't know, I probably I hope that it doesn't spoil that much. Um, but yeah, watching this movie, uh, it's very very relatable and touching a story, and it has some funny moments. The Punisher was like cursing the whole time. Not like as much, not like as rated R, but like he kind of cursed him or something funny. And the Hulk in this movie, there's a Hulk in this movie as well. And the Spider-Man and the Hulk, the fight scenes was it was so good. The Spider-Man versus Hulk, and then how Bruce Banner turns into the Hulk. That's like the scariest thing versus like what we see him in like the first Avengers. That's really scary too. I kind of like step back and run away from that. You know what I'm saying? Um, that's why I like the fight scenes is pretty good, like literally overall, and the villains and like some people, uh, really relatable, really good movie, and I think that what the message is like you're not alone. You have somebody. Peter Parker's alone, so like he yes face the challenges as Spider Man, uh, and he's grown up as well. And the ending, like I think the ending is really really relatable to me. He wants to be there for somebody who's just suffering the same thing as him, um, and he realizes like maybe I'm not alone. I'm loved by everybody. Things could get better even when his friends forget about him from the last movie, and he kind of healed people in a way that doesn't involve in a way that decreases the motivation of violence. Like that's what I take away from the movie, and it's really really grounded. I really enjoyed the aspect of that. Like before I step into a movie, I was like, how did they do a movie after like the last movie where it was like three Spider-Mans, and then when they lowered it down, that was a good thing to do. And also like everybody's like suffering the same way, or like thinking everybody's like experiencing the same way, even me, like especially me, same as Peter, and then it really gave me hope. It sort of gave me like hope of life will like eventually gets better a little, um when you have a character like Peter Parker that cares, and uh he reaches out for some help, or he kind of like stood up for his own, after these years. So um that was really a fun movie for somebody that's like really, really like me, someone that's really um, you know, has little self esteem right now, and like for someone that's like depressed or depressed sometimes, and if you regret your mistakes or something, things will get better in that sort of a sense. And yeah, so I would give this movie like a probably like a 9.1, 9.1 out of 10. Like as a regular movie, that's pretty good. Um, you know, obviously, obviously, No Way Home. I think No Way Home was like the best. Nothing could reach No Way Home. Nothing could top No Way Home. The Spider Man, like literally. I think everybody could say that. Nobody could top No Way Home. I like Brand New Day, but No Way Home was like a little bit better, just like a little bit better. In this movie was relatable. Um, what Peter Parker's experiencing, like his whole mindset and how he evolves is really, it's really uh, how people's perception of today and how the message changes people. Especially for me, I saw it. I kind of like. I gotta be honest. I'm a wimp, so like I kind of shed tears. No, not shed tears. I kind of like when you had a little bit tear that like in your eyes, but like it stops. Like yeah, that's how it was in some scenes because you just find that um you just find that you just find that vulnerability, and you just find like uh you're different and no and you're different from everybody else, and like you don't find any connections uh kind of relatable in Peter Parker, right? So I like the movie. I like Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's a 9.1 out of 10.